Well, I think you bring up a good point here, and I'll play business advocate for a
Do.
moment, because we're all pressed for time. Everything has to
That's
be
right.
done 2 or 3 days ago. So how are you going to convince even the most environmentally conscious business person to take the train as opposed to flying?
Well, I think the phrase quality of life comes in here. The quality of life on a plane today is about as dismal as anything anybody can possibly describe. And in its most extreme, as I wrote, it's like steerage. Now, for those that don't know what steerage is, if I understand what the word steerage means, is when our ancestors came across the ocean in the hold of ships, just jammed in there like sardines, if you will, and then that's what steerage is. Let's look at plane travel. They probably had more room actually than we do in that little seat that's designed for 5 foot tall people. I'm not one of those. 5 foot tall people, and skinny ones at that. When the plane is sitting on the tarmac for 4 hours, and these things have literally happened, we've been reading about them, and it's on the tarmac for 4 hours, and by that time the air conditioner is probably off, there is no food, or if they had it, they ran out for such a long time. And here's the kicker, the toilet starts to overflow. Now, if that isn't steerage, I don't know what it is.
Great picture.
Now, that's the picture. Now it's the quality of life. Now, let's go back to the businessman who's trying to keep his head on and not lose his sanity here. The idea, I think, is that the train travel is something that you can actually enjoy. It is peaceful. It has probably less distraction, better work conditions than maybe your own office. I mean, this is very possible. To be sure, you have to rethink what time means. Time doesn't mean you go from here to there, because that's not what you do in a plane. You sit everywhere, and you're all kinds of different modes just to get there. And then you go sit some more, or stand some more. So the point is that you don't lose your work time. That is actually very valid time. They let you use your computer. You can internet, you can email, you can do whatever you would do in your office. And you have a much bigger seat, by the way. I mean, on the square footage, it's much more comfortable. To be sure, the train does sit on the track a lot. It does. And the reason for that is the freight trains. They own the rail, just for starters. They own the track. And so they're going to get their CSX and all these other freight companies, they're going to get their train through when they need to get it through, and you're going to sit there. But even factoring that in, you are still going to get a better experience. Now, just let me give you another experience, a real-life experience. If you were going to Seattle, say, by cross-country train, and I've done this, and I've also done it in San Francisco, you can get on at 5 o'clock on Friday, and by 10:30 in the morning on Monday, you can be at your business meeting. Mm-hmm. Now, you have had a wonderful 2 days on the train, being able to move around, meet interesting people, because you really do meet people on the train. And this is the best part of all. People are happy to be on the train. They're not miserable. That is an incredible atmosphere to be in. And I think people have to start thinking about what is their quality of life. Is that the quality you want, or is there another way? It'll take longer, but it won't waste your time.
Yeah,
and you're standing in line, you're not getting a lot done.
It's a whole other mindset, I think.
It's a very different mindset. It's a very different mindset.
And you also point out in your column that it doesn't have to be that long. The time could be cut down if
definitely.
we improve the infrastructure.
More sightings. Mm-hmm. I mean, they could cut probably 6 hours off that cross-country trip. Of course, they'll put you there in the middle of the night. That's a little problem. But they definitely can improve it a lot. However, I really should say that the high-speed rail that people get really excited about, come and get real, guys, that's like another track. You really have to have another track.
Is that the maglev that you referred to?
Yeah, well, maglev, that's a whole different thing. These are all very expensive, and I mean, I live in Ossining, and I know what it looks like in Peekskill. I can't imagine these things going through there, because you're right in with people, and some of them are grade level. Goodness. I think it would be a far stretch. But just to say, I think business people really need to rethink what the train is. It is slower, but it is not wasted time. On the plane, you've got massive amounts of wasted time. And it's stressful. Stress is a very big deal for business. I don't think we have quantified it enough, but what stress is doing for your health is really devastating. And I think we need to factor that in as an externality, if you will, in terms of how we use our time and what it's doing for our bodies and minds. Planes are not fun.